Hello, and today we're doing a review of my predictions for the World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifiers predictions that I did for match day 1 to match day 3. And those games, of course, took place ranging from Wednesday last week to, Tuesday this week. And there's a couple of games that are taking place tonight, which obviously I won't be able to review because it's coming out today. But the main thing is the overall gist of how my predictions went, what kind of points we got for our predictions, etc, etc. So we're going to go through that today. If you like the video, smash a like on it, subscribe for more lovely content from the vast footballing world, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. So going into this video, we're going to look back at our International World Cup 2022 qualifier predictions video that we did, and let's see how many of those we got right. We're going to compare my predictions with, of course, the real results. So we start with Italy against Northern Ireland. Let's get into it.
Would you believe me if I...
I start talking some absolute jibber jabber about the song of the day there. Talking of song of the day, there isn't one today, but not every day has a song of the day. That's just life, unfortunately. But in terms of this... hang on, let me just quickly get to it. By the way, if you didn't already see it, make sure you check out my return of FIFA content. It's hard to get them out because I've got a busy schedule, but sometimes when I like to and when I can, I do get them out. And I did a FIFA 21 long-range goals experiment. It was a great one. Whether it was a failed experiment or a crazy experiment, you decide. Go watch the video on my channel. But let's get into the video and reviewing the predictions that we did last Wednesday. Here we go. Let's do this, people.
Be a video for my national team Portugal, and it will be around the Euros and the squad that I will predict Portugal to take, the 23-man squad for...
Don't forget that video is coming April 9th. Get your diaries and get it locked in.
Euro 2022. Technically, it's 2021, actually. That's the World Cup I'm getting confused with. But it was supposed to be in 2020. We all know what happened there. But yeah, I'll be predicting the players that will be selected for that squad in the summer. So yeah, hope you enjoy that one. Give that one a like, but smash a like on this one. Comment down below your thoughts and share it with your friends. So let's get into my international predictions for this week. We're going to kick things off with a game between Italy and Northern Ireland. Now, this is quite an interesting one, to be fair. You might have to, get a bit of popcorn, get a drink, sit down and watch it, because it is on Sky Sports Football. It takes place Thursday, March the 25th, 7:45 kickoff, and they're the 4-time world champions. So it's definitely not something for Northern Ireland to take lightly. Italy will definitely be a very big test for Northern Ireland. They last qualified for the World Cup in 1986. So Ian Barraclough's team will be travelling to Parma, and they've won just one of their last 10 games, which is not exactly great form that's going to give you confidence. While Roberto Mancini's team, their Italy went undefeated in 2020 by miraculously winning 5 of 8 games. So Italy are, of course, the favourites for this big game. And keep your eye on the informed player, Domenico Berardi.
Oh, what a call, lad. What a call. He went with it. And guess who scored? Domenico Berardi got the goal against Northern Ireland. What can I say? I just know these things. Let's move on to what I actually predicted.
Absolutely brilliant talent. And I think that Italy will have enough to rub the salt in the wounds for Northern Ireland. I think this is the kind of game, Northern Ireland, they just have to stay humble. They have to realise this is a tough game and it's unlikely they're going to get anything out of it. So I'm going to say Italy 3, Northern Ireland 1.
Well, that's pretty good, because that's a correct goal difference as well as the correct result. I went with a 3-1. It was, of course, 2-0, and Berardi, he scored. So, yeah, that's what you'll have to see. Let's move on to the game between England and San Marino on Thursday.
I'm not going to do goal scorers, but we might do it for the Portugal games. But next is going to be England against San Marino. Now, this is obviously the game that's on Thursday, ITV, 7:45 kickoff. And incredibly, England have scored a whopping 24 goals in their last 4 meetings with San Marino. So I think we can expect a lot of goals. Ultimately, England haven't been amazing recently, but they have been pretty solid considering. And there's so much young talent, which is, going into that England squad. A few call-ups, obviously, for these qualifiers that you wouldn't expect. Ollie Watkins, and Trent being left out of the, qualifiers squad. So it's interesting. And obviously, there's a lot of players you would have said deserved a place in that squad, but they didn't get it for whatever reason. So whether that's injury, whether that's, maybe they're playing for a smaller club and they're just not getting noticed as much. But the point is, it's a very promising England team right now, and they're gelling together, lots of fresh young talent, and they'll be confident, I think, of a big win against San Marino. So unless England do a classic England and have an absolute nightmare against one of the smaller teams, I think they should seal a very comfortable 3-0 victory on Thursday against...
It finished 5-0, so fair play England. A few more goals put in the back of the net, but with these games against San Marino, you can't really take much from it. It doesn't tell you much about the squad, and it doesn't tell you much about how they'll cope at Euro 2021 or 2020, as it should be, for the merchandise. But the point is, it's a game against San Marino. It's a bit of a nothing game. It was just such an easy one for England. They just scored goals all over the pitch. 2 from Calvert-Lewin, 1 from Ward-Prowse, 1 from Sterling, and of course the debut goal off the bench for Ollie Watkins. Be it San Marino, it's not the most amazing result, but it's goals, and that will give the squad confidence going forward. Despite this, though, will the squad be the same for Euro 2021 or 2020? I should keep saying that. It probably won't be, because people like Ollie Watkins, people like Jesse Lingard, Calvin Phillips, they've just been put into this squad based off current form, and I don't think they're going to be back in the England team for the real games, the ones that count. So, yeah, these ones count. These are still important to qualify for the World Cup, but when you compare it to the Euros, it really is nothing. So, at the end of the day, it's a game very good for England, but is it that important? Probably not. Anyway, got a correct result in this one, so 3 points to us. We got 7 points in the opening game, 3 points in that game, and of course it's 3 points for the result, 7 for the goal difference, and then of course 11 for the score. So 2 games down and 10 points to us. Not too shabby. Let's move on to England against Poland. Oh wait, we can't, because that's tonight, so we'll just leave that one out. Alright, now it's Albania versus England. Let's get to that one.
I think that in terms of inform for the best of the world right now, I think it's got to be Robert Lewandowski. He's just...
That's funny. I started talking about Lewandowski and he goes and gets a 4-week injury, so he can't play tonight. Funny one. But let's move on to Albania, England.
Certainly not, any turnover. They're not any pushovers, is the right way to say it. So they're not strangers either in terms of how they faced in recent years. They were drawn...
All right, get on with it.
We're going to go with an England win, but it will be tight. I think it will be tight.
I did a lot on that Poland game. Goodness me.
Albania away from home. And this is not going to be as difficult, certainly, as Poland. And I'd probably say a bit easier than San Marino. But, Albania, they...
So, in terms of Albania, what did I predict?
Got, not Ando, once again. Now, the Czech Republic, they will be got, and I think all the goals will be scored by away trip. And Albania have actually never beaten England, so they'll be confident, the 3 Lions. The Red and Blacks, though, did win 3 matches on the spin last November, so they can, when they want to, really make a statement. But I'm going to say a very good statement for England here, a comfortable 3-0 victory away from home, and I think all the goals will be scored by forward Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So it's
I went with a Dominic Calvert-Lewin hat-trick. Well, he scored 2 goals, but in the other game, so unlucky there. But we went with a 3-0 England win. It was just out of a correct score, 2-0 instead. But who did I say to score?
trick for the absolute legend, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, in a...
Oh yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I don't think he played against Albania. Instead, it was the other top marksman up front, Harry Kane, getting another goal. And he really is lethal, it's got to be said. James Ward-Prowse obviously came on, as well as Jesse Lingard, but it was a man-of-the-match performance from Declan Rice, fair enough. Also a very good performance from Lingard in the previous game against San Marino, but yeah, it was a fairly comfortable game against Albania, although they did, look decent. They weren't a complete mess like San Marino were, so yeah, Albania went for it, but Harry Kane, absolutely classic header, what a ball in from Luke Shaw, and Harry Kane, lovely header to just cushion it into that side netting for the goal. And the Mason Mount, he's been absolutely at the top of his game at Chelsea, and he's doing it now for England too. Lovely pass, just slipped through by Harry Kane, and he's got the composure to slot it past the goalie for 2-0. So, yeah, 3 points there for us, but no correct goal difference. We move on after being on 13 points. Let's see Israel versus Scotland.
3-0 away victory. All right, let's move on to the games, apart from England's matches and, the other games in the World Cup qualifying. So this is now going to be a game between Wales and Czech Republic.
Oh.
This is on Tuesday,
all right, we'll just do it that
30th of
order.
March.
That's fine.
And it's on Sky Sports main event once again.
Wales, Czech
now, the
Republic.
Czech Republic, they will be very confident for this one because recently their players have been performing very well. The likes of Mati Vidra, the likes of Thomas Souček, and of course Vladimir Kufal. So I think Czech Republic have actually really improved in the last year in terms of their players, and obviously they had that scare in the last international break at some time earlier on in the season. They had a lot of COVID cases, and then when they played their game against Scotland, they had to kind of put a lot of the reserves in. But I think they're all good now, and hopefully, by the way, with players going to these international games, there isn't too much of that, and that they can really control the COVID situation, because you want players to be back for their club matches, and you want them fit, healthy, firing to go. So we will see it with that. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a tough one for Wales in Cardiff, because it is a good Czech Republic team. So I think that Wales will actually get a point in this one and not a win, because Czech Republic have just been building up momentum. So we'll say Wales 1, Czech Republic 1.
Again, another goal away from a correct score, but no, the correct result is inbound because I predicted a 1-1. It was, of course, 1-0 to Wales. And the goal? Who'd it come from?
All right, the next game to predict is Luxembourg against...
Oh, I thought I'd done the scorers. No, I didn't. I actually did predict it in my head, the scorer, but not out loud. No, genuinely, though, the winner was scored by Daniel James, and it's a big goal for him to prove to him himself that he can do it on an international level, as well as for Manchester United. Even for Man United, he's not been getting enough game time, but if he can show he's got quality in the small moments, then that's enough maybe to creep back into that team. With Cavani might be back with Man United, and maybe people like Rashford and Martial should be all right to start. But if not, James is always there to get there and make up the minutes and make some differences for Manchester United. But interestingly enough, it was not an easy game for Wales, and 2 red cards in the game saw it 10 versus 10. Patrick Schick with a red card, and of course Connor Roberts as well. So yeah, not ideal at all, and not ideal from our predictions. No points there. And let's move on to the game. I think now it's Israel against Scotland, if I'm right in thinking. Anyway, let's have a look.
Portugal. And this is my team.
Of course it's not. It's Portugal. But let's move on to my team Portugal's games that I predicted.
Game tonight, and it's an interesting one. Obviously, you'd fancy us to get the win, but we want to win every game, whoever it's against. And I think that, we can't take it for granted. Luxembourg, they are probably going to be, really desperate to get in the World Cup. Chances are, will they? Probably not. But every World Cup qualifier game is important, and it kicks off 7:45 tonight. Come on, Portugal, vamos! But I think that we should be able to get a comfortable victory over Luxembourg. And actually, I refrain from saying that because Luxembourg game is on the Tuesday, the 30th of March. Tonight's one is actually Azerbaijan. So just to be logical, let's go with Azerbaijan prediction first. And I think, we should get a very easy win here. So let's say Portugal 4, Azerbaijan 0. And goal scorers for Portugal, let's say the first goal is going to be scored by the forward João Felix. We get our second of the day from midfielder Bernardo Silva. Then Bruno Fernandes makes it 3-0. And the final goal for Portugal, who else but Cristiano Ronaldo?
So actually, it was a win for Portugal and a much needed win in match day 1 of the World Cup qualifiers, but it was a bit more tight and a bit more nervy. It actually ended 1-0 to us, and the goal came from an unfortunate own goal, it has to be said. The ball in is not a bad one, to be fair. It puts them under pressure, so that's good to see from us, but it's a mix-up. It's a defensive mix-up, and the goalie completely misses it, flies out, doesn't get the ball, just punches it straight into his own defender, and that defender's name is Medvedev. Very unlucky. He sees his deflection trickle in over the line for an own goal, and that was, the goal that won it. But we had so many other chances in the game that we should have scored, and we were very dominant as the team. A lot more possession, a lot more chances. Just it wouldn't go in for us that night, and the goal was enough to get the win. So, ultimately a win's a win, but it would have been nice to get a bit more goal difference. But in terms of what we predicted, we got a 4-0 prediction, so a bit too optimistic. 3 points though, nonetheless, correct result. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, now we've got Portugal's second game. That was the Azerbaijan result. We've now got Serbia away for Portugal to go to. So it's on Saturday, 7:45, and Serbia is going to be a really tough test. I think Serbia, they really do seem to go all the way in these kind of competitions, and certainly they have a good squad. People like Mitrovic and, Kolarov, Tadic, Nemanja Matic, and also Arnautovic. That's Austria. I shouldn't say that. No, I meant to say it's not Arnautovic, but it's the other guy, Milivojevic. That's the one. So, I think this could be tough for us, but I still think we are the better team. I think we've got the better squad, and we hopefully should be able to get a win here against Serbia. So we'll say Serbia 1, Portugal 3. And
I went with 4 goals, but I did say it was always going to be a tough game, and I don't think there's any disgrace drawing to Serbia, but when we're 2-0 up, it feels like a loss, it feels like a kick in the teeth, and it was 2-2. But who did I go with for the goal scorers?
Scorers here, I think Serbia probably will go first with...
Well, got that one wrong, but anyway.
Goal scoring, and it will be through the midfielder that is Nemanja Matic.
The irony, the absolute irony. The guy that puts up on Bruno Fernandes' locker a thing about what happened at the end of the game. We'll talk about that in a second.
Manchester United midfielder. And then I think we will hit back with goals from Ruben Diaz, who's been doing brilliantly for club Manchester City, and I think he hopefully should carry that through for his nation. And I think there's also going to be a goal from Diogo Jota.
Oh, that's a great prediction. Jota did in fact score against Serbia. He scored 2. So, he's class. He's absolutely quality. He's on fire at the minute, and he got the 2 goals, 2 brilliant headers, wonderful balls in, and there was just no stopping them. So, one header is kind of, he goes across it, and he gets it in at the far post, and then the other one, he actually goes and makes a run past the defender, and he gets it into the same corner, but instead of straight ahead of him, he puts the header across goal, and it goes into the same corner. But fantastic couple of headers, and you're thinking at half-time, what a game. But then it all turns around.
And then the final third goal for Portugal, Pedro Neto.
So it finished 2-2, and I don't know how managed to do that, really, because we were just cruising in that game. But second half, Serbia come out, and they look like an amazing team. I don't know where they got it from. What the manager said must have really made a difference, because they just looked so hungry for it, and we just kind of didn't expect it. We were really coasting, and suddenly we're 2-2. So fair play. The first goal, it's a bit of a scrappy one, but it's an important one for Mitrovic to be their all-time record goal scorer. Close range header, just one of those ones. The goalie wants to fly out to it, but he knows if he will, he'll get a kick in the face, and the defenders tried to slide Stopped Mitrovic, but it couldn't be done, and he just got the goal. But then the second goal is really hard to stop, and it's just a lovely flowing move. Really nice passing, really good awareness, and great level of pass and weight of pass, and the touching was just perfect. The first touch, the second touch, and then the finish from Kostic. Fantastically done, sliding it in, and unfortunate there, Jose Font just trying to block it, and it just couldn't be stopped. So, yeah, it was a real shame, but, you know, a point's a point. It was always going to be Serbia, the toughest team in our group, and ultimately, come match day 3, we'll be feeling a little bit better about ourselves. But the main thing is to say, we got that Serbia Jota prediction right, so that's nice to see, but we didn't get the scoreline right, so no points for me there. We move on to the next one.
All right, now we've got the game for Portugal with Luxembourg, as I mentioned before. So, yeah, this is probably, I'd say, a bit harder than Azerbaijan, but still not the game you'd expect us to lose. I think we should.
It's funny because against Azerbaijan, I was thinking this is going to be an easy win, hence why I predicted 4-0. But Azerbaijan weren't even that bad, especially, I'd say, their goalkeeper. The goalkeeper had an absolutely wonderful night in goal. Going forward, they didn't test us, so you'd say their attack is not really that strong. But yeah, the goalie had a great game. But I've got to say, I was really impressed with Luxembourg. I thought that they were quite ranked, quite low down, but they just looked really up for it, and they looked quite good. So, it's not a disgrace to, be saying you have to beat them 7-0 every week. But, we got the job done eventually because we were the better team, and we really did score some great goals on Tuesday night. So, let me see if I got my prediction right, and did we get any scorers?
Be getting a few goals past Luxembourg. So we'll say Luxembourg 0, Portugal 3. And goal.
Luxembourg 0, Portugal 3. Oh, it's so close again to a correct score, but not quite. Close but no cigar. It's 3 points for me. Another correct result, but it did, of course, finish Luxembourg 1, Portugal 3. And it was an absolute nightmare start to the game with a really good goal, to be fair. Glancing header from Rodriguez. And you're thinking, oh dear, we're in trouble here. But defensively, we weren't that bad. Ruben Diaz had a bit scary moments. He got booked and he made a few questionable tackles, but he did put a couple of good blocks in as well, and obviously got booked. So, yeah, it was a nervy game at the start, but then we really did correct our mistakes and we looked much more comfortable towards the end, and we were just really trying to kill the game off, and we did do that eventually. The third goal eventually did come. But let's see if I got any correct scorers in this one.
Here, we'll say Ronaldo once again.
Oh, we did it. He's gone and done it. Ronaldo did score against Luxembourg. And it was a fantastic finish. Wonderful, wonderful ball in from Joao Cancelo. That cross was begging to be hit. And on the slide, on the volley, he just slots it really nicely. The GOAT, once again, does it. And it's a massive goal to make it 2-1. After a lovely goal again from guess who? Yeah, that's right, Diogo Jota. Again, absolutely fantastic. He's just been in incredible form. And that is even better of a header than the game against Serbia. That is such a tough ball to control. But it's a really good ball in. And Jota just adjusts himself so well, straight in the top corner. And that's a lovely goal to get us on level terms. But we did get our third. And who was that through? It was a first Portugal goal for the very promising player that plays in midfield. And that name goes by of Joao Palhinha. Joao Palhinha, well done, mate. I'm honestly so happy for you to get your first goal. And it was a lovely goal. A bit like Rodriguez in the fact it was a glancing header from a corner. Get in there, my son.
The absolute young gun that is just looking brilliant right now. And that man is, of course, the up-and-coming Trincao, playing for...
Yeah, Trincao didn't actually play. No, Trincao is in the under-21s or the other, group of squads. Not for this Portugal one. Maybe, just maybe, he gets chosen for the Euro 2020. But I don't know if he's allowed to, categorise and qualify for that. We'll see. But anyway, we got that wrong.
And then we will go for another goal from midfielder that is Renato Sanchez.
Well, he didn't score, but I actually thought he played really well against Luxembourg. He started the game with a lot of determination, winning the ball back, and he was just dictating a lot of the play. So good to see him, really going out there and hungry to get some good minutes and help his team out. But ultimately, a very good win from Portugal. 3-1 it was. 3 points for me in the predictions. And yeah, once again, we get a correct scorer with that Ronaldo goal. So that now puts him on 103 goals. Absolutely fantastic. And it means we top the group. Get in. It's lovely to see that. After we draw to Serbia, when we go from 2-0 up to 2-2, it's nice to get the revenge. And we're back on top of the group on goal difference. So good to see us being ruthless against Luxembourg. So yeah, going into the Euros, we're hopefully going to keep on pushing with those World Cup qualifying games. But we've got 2 friendlies in the middle of June, early June, against Spain and Israel, basically just to warm us up for the Euros. But then we've got the big games in the Euro title defence. Hungary, Portugal face then Germany. I know, it's not fair. And then France. So we've got a tough group. It's the group of death. But that is our World Cup qualifiers games done. And that is our World Cup qualifiers predictions review done for this week. So thanks for watching. In terms of the games, obviously we missed out that Poland won for obvious reasons. But in terms of how many there were 8 games. And the most points you could have scored was a correct score, 11. So possible 88 points. And out of that, we didn't get the best score, it's got to be said, because we got a bit unlucky. There were a few shocks in there. But we got a score of 19 points out of a possible 88. Do you think you could have done better? Well, let me down below what your predictions were before they actually took place, of course. And if you were going to do better than me. But the main thing is, we got some correct results in there. So, hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on the video. And I shall see you in the next one. But yeah, let's see if England can do something against Poland tonight. We will find out.